Dueling Dialogues is brought to you by our affiliates at hostpapa.com. Click the banner on the rightleftchronicles.com for premium unlimited web hosting with the highest rated reviews at the lowest prices. Coming to you from that once-forgotten artery that pulses through the center of the continental United States and into the heart of the Ozarks, Grace Matthews. Looking in from the northern border, our Canadian friend, along with his countrymen feeling the effects of U.S. political issues, Connor Murphy.
Welcome to Dueling Dialogues, episode 129. I'm Connor Murphy here with Grace Matthews. Hi, Grace. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good. How's the weather?
Well, it's kind of chilly and rainy. Again.
Yeah, same here.
It's been like that all week.
Yeah,
We've got a north wind today that will absolutely take your breath away.
We say it frosts the nuts on a brass monkey.
Well, that's what my son said. My son called me last night and he said, I just got in from Toronto.
Ah.
Oh my gosh, he thought it was very cold.
Yeah, this
now,
time of year.
He lives in South Carolina, you know.
Right. Well, this time of year, you could hit and miss there.
Yeah, so he thought it was brutal, but I don't know. I'm excited. After we get done here, I am going to make some onion jam.
Oh, I've heard of that. I've never tried it.
Yeah, it's so delicious, but I've never made it, so I'm all excited. I'm going to go with a wing-ding thing going on tonight.
Oh.
Hope it's good with wings. Had it with steak before, but not wings, but I think it'll be good with wings. So.
Awesome. So I've had this weird pain in my lower left abdomen, right? And yeah. I would think it was like an appendix, but it's the opposite side. So I decided to Google my pain, and Google came back and said that I probably have a ovarian cyst. So I'm thinking, oh, come on, Google, you have all my data. You should know me better than that. How can you figure out I'm a liberal?
Exactly. But, we're all staying away from that gender identity stuff.
Oh, I guess so. I guess there you go. So, I don't know. Got to go get my ovaries checked, I guess.
Yeah. Go get those checked. You might be pregnant, for God's sakes.
But I don't know, Google. I am not a liberal. Come on.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, what do we got today?
Well, the mail bomber he's been arrested.
Yeah, Cesar Sayoc.
Yeah, and he's pretty much a wingnut.
Yeah, well, here in Canada, we have a football team called the Blue Bombers. So being a Blue Bomber fan in Canada means something totally, totally different.
Well, it's been a long week. It started out on Monday with the Soros bombing. Or not bombing, they found the contraption. These all seemed like duds, and I kind of think that was by design.
Yeah, I mean, he sent it to people that don't open their own mail.
Yeah, and all of them had a return address to Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and it was misspelled. The name was misspelled, and they all had 6 forever flag stamps on there, and he certainly, I was hoping, I guess, because of all the rhetoric that had been passed back and forth between the media and Trump, that he was a crazy liberal. I mean, the fact is he's crazy, of course, but they picked up his van, a while ago, and it's like a conversion, well, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like an 80s van.
But it has windows.
Right.
So, like a commercial van with windows, but it has stickers all over the thing. And when I say all over, I mean every window is covered, which makes sense because later I discovered that possibly he lives in his mother's driveway inside this van.
Oh, nice.
So this is kind of his own. But he definitely had the president and the vice president all over this fan. So he's definitely a Trump fan.
Right.
I was hoping it would kind of go in the opposite direction because, there's just been an awful lot of things said. But he certainly wasn't hiding out in this van. I mean, this van is very conspicuous. He had been arrested before for making terrorist threats back in 2001. He was arrested again in 2014 for shoplifting.
Okay.
He was originally from New York, now living in Florida, and in Florida, it's where he was arrested.
Kind of looked like he drew his hair on with a felt marker when I saw a picture of him.
The picture I saw was bald-headed.
Yeah, I saw a picture with hair, and it looked like he had drawn it on with a Jiffy marker.
Oh, wow. Interesting, because I saw a bald one. Okay. Well, he's definitely a nut, and I think it's a nice way to close things off on Friday with catching this dude.
Yeah, I know. It didn't take him long, man. They had him in the sights quickly.
Yeah, my understanding is they knew yesterday.
Yeah. And,
of course, they were watching him.
Right.
There still could be more bombs out there, or, these duds.
Right.
He will probably still get life in prison, but he certainly won't get the death penalty because they were all duds.
Right, right.
And it seems sort of like he knew what he was doing there. He did seem to send them to people that had said malicious things about the president, high-profile Democratic leaders.
Right.
So no surprise there.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely crazy. And, the one thing that everybody needs to remember is when something like this happens, nobody is to blame except the person that did it.
Pretty much. But Trump's getting all the blame.
He certainly is. And, CNN is blaming him. Even Zucker, the CEO, came out with a statement against Trump saying it was Trump's fault. And, Trump says things. He said things that he really shouldn't have said that are a little aggressive. But listen, last week, Eric Holder said that you should kick Republicans in the face.
Yeah, exactly. This goes two ways.
It goes two ways. Yeah. Look at Maxine Waters.
Yeah.
She says all kinds of crap.
Yeah, no doubt. Yes.
And
you can't take things literal like that because then a lot of people, you'd all be put in jail.
Well, for sure. And you know what? When a group of people gang up on someone else and become threatening, that's what we call a mob.
Exactly.
And CNN wants you to get rid of the mob word. It's the new dirty word on CNN. Somebody says mob, they cut their mic.
Oh, wow.
Throw them out of the studio.
Wow.
Mob, 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 mob.
Oh, man, this world is crazier every day.
It is. It is. And I don't know. Well, now that Canada has legalized marijuana, cannabis.
Legislated marijuana, you mean?
Yeah, legislated. We got to talk about Missouri because, we have a awful lot of listeners in Missouri.
Yeah. And you guys are way behind the rest of the world, it seems.
Ooh, we are terribly behind, but that's not so unusual for us. We kind of joke a lot about it, but, there are some serious conditions.
Yeah.
That medical marijuana is really is the only option.
It's the best option, and it's the safest option.
Exactly. Now, we're going to have 3 bills on the ballot a week from Tuesday. There's a lot of similarities. So I don't know which one is best because I don't see that much difference. What I do know is we need to pass something.
Something. Yeah.
Now, let's see. What channel is
Now, are you talking medical cannabis, or are you talking just smoking leisurely?
No, this is just medical.
Oh, wow. You guys are way behind.
But I think it's a step. Other states have had medical marijuana, have definitely very quickly gone to legalization. Missouri, until the federal laws are changed, I don't know that they would ever legalize it.
Wow. That just boggles my mind. They'd rather have people dying of opioid addictions than to actually, allow cannabis to be legal, but they don't make any money from it. See, here in Canada, our politicians figured out how to make money from it. And they thought they were, took 2 years to figure this all out. They thought they were smart, but what they basically have done now, or what it has caused, is a huge inflation, like 4 times the price that people were paying from their illegal dealer. So,
oh my goodness.
Oh yeah. Hey, when you start adding taxes and paying the middlemen along the way, it's going to be quickly inflated as far as the price goes.
That's true.
Now, there were some dispensaries operating illegally during this period where they were trying to figure it out, and the RCMP just kind of, in certain areas, let them do their thing, and our area was one of them. So in order for those companies to go legal now, basically they've had to close their doors because they've got an application in to be a legal place.
Oh my goodness.
These are all the places that have been operating for years and have knowledgeable staff. And if you've got a medical condition, you can come down and talk to these guys and they will recommend products that will work for you. These people are all out of work now. So what you've got is a whole bunch of legal stores that, of course, are backed by rich people and politicians that are the only stores that are operating. So they've cornered the market. And they don't have knowledgeable staff. So people are going in there to ask questions and they can't answer their questions. Plus they're paying $13, $14 a gram, whereas the going price in my hometown was $4. So,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. So,
I'm telling you what, we pay here just for the CBD without the THC as $130 for an ounce.
Oh my!
Tincture.
Yeah, but a tincture
that you take about a 0.25 dropper.
Right. So that's very concentrated, but that's still very expensive because that's.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're paying a really inflated price for that too.
Yeah.
Wow.
But there are a lot of people that need it, and I have an article here that's from Fox 4 in KC, and I just want to quote a little bit of it because Missouri could become the 31st state to legalize medical marijuana. Now that kind of excludes the states that have
legal
marijuana. But they're going to have a tough choice in November because there's 3 different bills. Now, I don't understand that you necessarily have to choose one of the bills. You could actually vote for all 3, I guess. But they quote a mother, Sarah Lango, who has a daughter with epilepsy. She's like me. I never smoked marijuana when I was young. She didn't either. And she says a few years ago, if you would have asked her, she would have been indifferent. I feel the same. She was uneducated, she claims. But Avery, her daughter, has what they call a rare catastrophic form of epilepsy called Dravet syndrome. Avery has between 10 and 17 small seizures on any given day. She has intense periods every couple of months that can last anywhere from 15 minutes to 3 hours.
Wow.
Now, it's heart-wrenching to watch this. Now, I have a son that has the same thing. He's 29 years old, but it's not called Dravet syndrome on him. It's uncontrolled seizures. And at one point, my son was having over 100 seizures an hour.
Oh, my God.
We had universities studying him.
Wow.
Now, he got a VNS implant that helped. Believe me, it did not get rid of the seizures, but it did curtail them enough that I remember he tasted, after the surgery where they implanted it, he tasted some chicken nuggets. And it was basically the first time he had tasted it.
Wow.
So that's how intense his seizures are. And now when he has a grand mal seizure, it's very hard to stop them. But the oil is hope.
Right.
It's hope because you can put it on their gum or under their tongue, and it takes effect almost immediately.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. That's
not to even mention the cancer patients that can use it.
Yeah, I likely wouldn't be here if it wasn't for cannabis oil. So, and I'm probably one of the few out there that has the proof. Although when I explained why my biopsies were coming back as inconclusive, I explained I was on cannabis oil. They ignored that fact. They pretended they didn't even hear me say that because it has nothing to do with the big business of cancer.
Oh, exactly. Or seizures, for that matter.
Exactly.
Even in states where medical marijuana is legal, you're talking about these people that are very knowledgeable, that are selling the cannabis.
Yeah.
The reason you need knowledgeable people is the doctors won't write scripts for these.
Exactly.
Even where it's legal. They don't want to touch it because, like you said, it is big business. Seizure, cancers.
It's not only that. I've had this discussion with a few of my doctors, and they say, how can I write a prescription for something you know more about than I do? They've never been trained in cannabis.
Well, that's interesting.
And that needs to change. That really,
surely
really
to
needs
goodness
to change.
that can be. Yeah, that does need to be changed. But on the ballot, a week from Tuesday, are 3 different bills. The first one is, I don't know why they start with Amendment 2, but it is sponsored by the Veteran Healthcare Services Initiative. It would legalize medical marijuana. It would tax the sales at 4%, but the revenue would go to healthcare services for veterans. It would also allow patients to grow their own. The new approach, Missouri is the one that is leading the campaign. Now, Amendment 3 is Medical Marijuana and Biomedical Research and Drug Development Institute. Now, biomedical research, we have a really big biomedical research in Springfield, Missouri. Okay? They research all sorts of things like migraines and fat, obesity, whatever they're paid to do. They do trials. Now, this would legalize marijuana, medical marijuana. It would tax the marijuana at 15%. It would create the research center, and Brad Bradshaw, whom I know, who is a physician and attorney that wrote this bill, would oversee it. Now, who writes themselves in? I like Brad. I know Brad. But that seems a little weird that you would write yourself a job into a bill.
Yeah.
And he really doesn't need another job. But but I do like the fact that they would research and learn more, because isn't that part of the problem with marijuana? They haven't done a lot of research.
Well, no, that's not true, because there is research out there. They just don't want to look at it.
Okay.
There is a ton of research out there, and the more research is done, the more open marijuana usage is. Because
well, maybe
all these
I
experts.
should say not in the States, because it has not been legal to do trials with marijuana in the States. There's probably a lot of research out there worldwide, though.
And it all has to do with corporate pharma paying the politicians. That's all it has to do with. It's ridiculous.
Corporate pharma is crazy. I'm having an issue with that myself on another issue, but we'll talk about that another day.
Okay.
Proposition C is medical marijuana and veterans healthcare services, education, drug treatment, and public safety initiative. Now, the tax on this one would be 2%. The revenue would be spent on veterans drug treatment, education, and public safety. Now, but the patients could not grow their own. The only one where patients could grow their own is Amendment 2. So I think Amendment 2 is probably the best bet.
It's extremely hard to grow cannabis. Anybody thinking that they are just going to pop a few seeds in a pot and grow it in their living room, that's never going to work. Never going to work. Oh,
but they would at least have the ability to do it without getting arrested.
Correct. Yes.
For those that could. Now, I don't like the fact that you only get the research on Amendment 3.
Well, they don't have to research themselves. There's a ton of research going on and accessible online. That's where I found that THC killed the cancer that I had. And it was a U.S. study.
What kind of cancer did you have? Tell everybody.
Squamous cell carcinoma.
Which is a very aggressive.
Yeah, and chemo doesn't work on it. So my only choices were basically radiation and surgery, which I received both. They screwed up my radiation, and the tumors in my stage 3 cancer in my lymph glands, they weren't shrinking at all. So they were taking biopsies, and all my biopsies were coming back inconclusive. And I went, inconclusive. Like, what do you mean? Like, that makes no sense. And the oncologist said, well, they can tell they're cancer cells, but the nuclei of each cell is so mutated and enlarged and overgrown that they can't tell if the cell was alive or dead.
Wow.
So my results actually went to a world convention on neck and throat cancer, and they were presented. My case was presented to all the world experts. They shrugged their shoulders and said, surgery is your only option. So I went for the surgery. A month later, after my surgery, I found out they messed up my radiation. So I wouldn't be here, I don't think, if it wasn't for cannabis oil, because I don't know too many people that lived with stage 3 cancer in their lymphatic system for more than a couple years. But I did.
Exactly right. Yeah.
But I did. So how'd that work? Yeah. So.
Good point. Well, we need to do something. We need to legalize it across the United States. And yes, you are hearing a conservative say that. But I want to bring up one point. Okay, we hear about all of these people that did all these horrible things like Hillary Clinton, and she doesn't serve a minute of time.
Right.
Right? There was a guy in New Jersey. He went to Oregon. He has cancer, correct?
Right.
He buys some marijuana. He takes it home, which is against the law, no doubt.
Right.
Somehow he gets arrested. He gets 8 years.
Wow.
Are you kidding me? We let all of these politicians go for doing horrendous things. Wow. And a guy with cancer has some medical marijuana that he bought legally, albeit in another state. 8 years. Give me a break. Somebody surely will fix that, but that's the ridiculousness that goes on right now with marijuana. We've got a lot bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, no kidding.
And we need to focus more on the heroin problem. And by taking marijuana out of the mix, we could probably put a lot better resources towards solving heroin and opioid problems.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, okay, healthcare.
Yes, updates.
Constantly worrying about this pre-existing conditions, because as it stands right now, pre-existing conditions can be, ridiculous things,
Right.
Like a lot of people are on statins for cholesterol.
Right.
And that's considered a pre-existing condition. If you're a rock climber or a scuba diver, that's considered a pre-existing condition.
Wow, okay.
Because you're risky. The president put out word today through some of his staff that he will not sign a bill that is designed to repair, replace, rescind, whatever you want to call it, Obamacare, that does not take into account pre-existing conditions and allows those people to get affordable insurance.
Good.
I'm calling it the presidential promise.
Okay. There you go, though. That's what we were hoping for, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
I mean, it's absolutely what we have to have.
Yeah. And we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for McCain.
Yeah, we wouldn't be talking about it if it wasn't for McCain. Now, we got some good news, but it's mixed with some bad news.
Oh?
We got 3.5% growth with very little inflation. In fact, the inflation was like 1.5%, which when you talk about a 3.5% growth, that's pretty amazing, okay? But despite the fact that Obama said 3% would never happen and that was just a pipe dream, it has now happened for at least 3 quarters, and we may go this full year with over 3% growth. Obama couldn't get over 2%.
Wow, there you go.
But earnings on these companies are disappointing. And you go, well, how the heck could you do that when everybody's spending more money? Well, there's lots of reasons. Wages. The market for people to work for you is pretty competitive right now. The dollar is high. Interest rates are rising. Now, all 3 of those join together to create less earnings for companies. It doesn't mean they're going broke.
Exactly. They're pissed off because they're not getting a big dividend this year.
Exactly. And so you've got a stock market sell-off this week. Because these people are pouting.
Right. Poor rich people.
So, yeah, now, will this cause the Fed to take a step back on these interest rate hikes? I think so, because these guys always get what they want.
Yeah.
They're still going to have to pay more money for employers.
And that's a good thing. They should have been paying that to begin with. I mean,
absolutely.
What is it? Half of America makes less than $30,000 a year?
Yeah.
You can't live on $30,000 a year. Nobody can anymore.
I just saw in my hometown the median family income is $35,000.
Wow.
That's just horrible. We have a lot of people that are on public assistance in this town.
Yeah.
And most of the other people work for themselves. That's why the insurance situation is just dire.
Right.
Because you have to take out private policies.
Right.
And an area like this can be just grossly affected.
Right.
And I mean gross in more than one way. Okay, Megyn Kelly. I mean, everybody that reads our site, listens to us, knows we're not her biggest fans.
No, never have been. And I saw that headline. I think it was yesterday, or was it today, this morning? But I thought, well, I think we saw that coming, didn't we?
Well, yeah, they were looking for an excuse. Now, what she said was, she said back when she was young, it was perfectly acceptable to paint your face dark or black, and it was a Halloween costume. Yeah, I never did that, but she's right. It was
she's
perfectly
100%.
acceptable.
Yeah.
I mean, my favorite musical, Meet Me in St. Louis. The little kids are painted black like hobos.
Right.
You know, I mean, there was a time when it was acceptable. Was that right? Absolutely not.
Well, we thought it was okay at the time, and society seemed to accept it.
Exactly. And now things have changed. And should she have been fired for telling something that's it's just a fact?
Yeah, I think she's got a case there for wrongful dismissal for sure. She was stating a fact.
Yeah, she was stating a fact. And my guess is that she won't be working again in a national market. I know that Fox said we don't want her back.
Wow, I wonder
why they felt so compelled to say that. I don't know, but she'll get a nice package out of it if they just pay out her contract. I saw yesterday that would be $60 million.
Whoa!
So she's not going to starve.
Oh no,
Was Andy Lack? This was a bad move on his part. He wanted to pull the network a little more to the right. His other employees were the first ones to be against such a move. Then the audience, the politics. Now this particular audience they put her in front of is predominantly female and predominantly black at that time in the morning. So why would you have ever put Megyn Kelly there anyway?
Yes.
She had already said a few, things.
And she's whiter than white.
Yeah. And she behaves whiter than white. And, talk about someone that acts privileged. Holy cow. So he saw, he used us.
I don't know what he was thinking.
To get rid of her. She's a scapegoat. He shouldn't have got her in the first place.
Right, and we can agree there.
Yep, but we don't always agree about life's a journey, and we're all in this together. Thanks for listening. Godspeed, Connor, and Godspeed to all of our friends out there.
Godspeed, Grace, and thanks for listening.
Dueling Dialogues is brought to you by our affiliates at hostpapa.com. Click the banner on the rightleftchronicles.com for premium unlimited web hosting with the highest rated reviews at the lowest prices.